Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is January 26, 2022. I'm sorry. I wanted to come on and say hello and let you know that I'm going to be a little behind on the monthly horoscopes. It is a big time for all of us. Mercury just re-entered Capricorn last evening at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is retracing for all of us where Saturn was in 2020, in March of 2020, when we all went in lockdown and we're really figuring out how detrimental and awful and crazy this whole thing, and not figuring anything out too, at the same time, and working within huge restrictions. And each of us has experienced tremendous loss. And although Mars, which is the planet of action and how we get things done, entered the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn on Monday morning at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be there until March 9th. That is really good for getting things done. And I think it's ironic. I'm kind of laughing because I can't get anything done. And I just want to just be honest with all of you that, Pluto, which is the planet of death and regeneration, when we dealt with 2020, the big deal, one of the big deals among many, was that Saturn, which is restrictions and karma and structures, met up with Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, at the world axis, meaning hitting and impacting all of us and changing the structures of the world forever. And we're now in a process of rebirthing, and yet we're all really re-examining the last couple of years, which have been so tremendously painful and difficult and frightening. And we have some big adversity ahead, obviously, huge adversity, but we have to tap into our power. And today I'm talking about something that I don't normally talk about, which is, mourning and loss. And I will not be able to do the monthly horoscopes quite on time, probably. Realistically, they might be a day or two late, and I hope you give me some latitude in this whole thing. I just lost somebody who was like an aunt to me, and was really old, and so I feel strange bringing it up in one level, because I know so many young people that are dying or have died, and so many clients and friends and people I know, and obviously world stories we're seeing all over, so much loss on a global level, and loss of ways of life and people's dreams and businesses. But for me, this woman is a huge part of my life. And I found out in December, when we were approaching Venus retrograde, and we were in eclipse season, and my friend Joan, her name is Joan, she was an amazing person. She was tough. She was a Sagittarius. She turned 95 a few weeks before she passed away, and she passed away on New Year's Eve. And I knew when I got the news. I got the news on the first of 3 Venus-Pluto conjunctions, and the first of which occurred on December 11th. And this was right before Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty. It represents the feminine divine, but it also represents what you value, what you love, how you earn money, how you can be creative, so many things. And Venus retrograded on December 19th at 26 degrees of Capricorn. And initially they met up together in the sky on December 11th, which is the day that I got news that my friend had a stroke. And the last eclipse in the Sagittarius Gemini axis was on December 4th at 14 degrees and 22 minutes of Sagittarius. And I just knew, with all of the energy and everything going on. And I also know Joan was miserable. She was a true Sagittarian. She was brilliant, always seeking knowledge. She was a historian of New York, among other things. It's not what she did as a living, but she knew where each borough began and ended, what materials were used. She knew about all the history of the buildings. She knew. The last time I saw her in September, she pointed out where the Stork Club was and gave me a personal story of something fun that happened there. She was amazing. She retired at the age of 90. Then she was taking college classes. She would go out to shop all the time and go to the theater and museums and shop again. But she had a very, very full life. And so I'm really honoring her, actually. But I myself am in deep mourning. She's like out of pain, and it's a good thing, you know. But I just wanted to share a few things because she was somebody that was really, really tough. And as a child, I was a little frightened by her. I met her initially when I was 7 years old, and my father worked with her and eventually became her business partner. But I didn't at that age realize how unusual for her time that she was on the floor with everybody else was a man. There was all male brokers. All the other women were secretaries or receptionists or what have you. But she was a trailblazer, and she was brilliant. And she worked between Mr. Merrill and Mr. Pierce at Merrill Lynch, and she would give weekly or daily reports on the market, and Mr. Smith, another partner, would call from another floor to listen in to the reports. She was one of the first women to ever become a broker at Merrill Lynch, and she also made it to the Red Jackets. She was in that caliber, the highest caliber of achievement for brokers at Merrill Lynch. She was a pioneer, and she was also incredibly generous and kind, and I'm wearing a few pieces to honor her today, if that's okay. So this is one of my favorites. She used to give pieces from Lalique, which is a French company that makes glass, and she had beautiful pieces in her home that were made of Lalique glass, beautiful, beautiful pieces. But this is one of my favorite necklaces I wear because she would try to usually customize to somebody's aesthetic, and she was very glamorous and beautiful, but she understood that I was much different, much more bohemian than she, and so she would give me more hippie-ish things. This I love. This is very hippie-ish, and this is a ring that she gave me. I can't really see as well, but I like that, and here's a pair of earrings, and many other things. It's not just about but she was always so thoughtful, and she was there for me in so many ways. And so so many of you, everybody I know actually at this point, I don't think I know anybody that hasn't lost somebody or is not in that process right now of wondering where things go. And I know I'm talking about somebody that lived a full life. And so I just mean, though, that the other thing I've noticed in this whole time is that there's just so much loss going on aside from this horrible illness and that's going on with COVID. But I've heard about a lot of people dying of cancer, and just a lot of, I know this happens all the time, but I've just been hearing about so much death in so many ways. And that's Pluto at the world axis, and which we experienced for a couple of years, 2019 and 2020. Now we have Venus, the planet of love and beauty and relationships, transiting in Capricorn, replaying the epic of Capricorn, which was a pretty damn serious one, you know, pretty huge. And again, mass karma, mass loss, mass restructuring. And I've given many times the example of Notre Dame when the fire happened in April of 2019, when Pluto initially got to the world point. It actually at that point got as far as 23 degrees of Capricorn. And the south node of karma was nearby, and Saturn was also within a few degrees at that point. They weren't exactly conjunct, but the three were conjunct in the sky. And that fire, to me, was very Capricornian. Notre Dame took, I believe, I can't remember now, I think it was over 500 years to build, or 800, I can't remember at this moment. Several years of history to build this symbol of an institution, the Catholic Church in France, this beautiful Gothic structure, and a lot of scaffolding and restructuring now. Luckily, the building did not come down completely, but a lot of loss of history and art, and it was, it was a big deal. And on the world level now, there is a lot of loss, in some cases permanent loss, and for all of us, there's definite restructuring and scaffolding in our own lives. And now, this week, Mercury re-entering Capricorn is replaying this, so we can figure out how we can structure our lives and ground and center ourselves. And, Venus does station direct on January 29th at 3:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's a great thing. It's going to station at 11 degrees and 5 minutes of Capricorn. And then it's going to meet up with Pluto and Mars in the beginning of March. It's going to be very intense. It's going to entail a lot of loss and endings as well, but a lot of transformation. And we are having the Pluto return of the U.S. chart, and I am afraid to talk about that for many reasons. I think my own fear, and so I'm going to have to reconcile that story because I'm going to have to talk about it. So not today, definitely not today, but I just wanted to say that I want to be there for all of you guys, and it's a very tough time, and so we're going to do what we can do, and come from love, and take care. All right, bye. Thank you.